This was the fifth time in the night that she called her husband. Again, the phone went unanswered. Mr. Knight and Ms. Knight are a lovely couple. Mr. Knight never missed his wife's call and never came home late. He had last called her 4 hours ago to inform that he would reach in an hour. Yet after 4 hours, there was no sign or call from him. Worried and tensed, she decided to call the police. At that moment, the doorbell rang. She cut the call in midway and crossed the hall. Peeking through the door hole, she saw her husband on the other side of the door. "Where were you? What took you so long? Do you have any idea how worried I was?" She fired away at him. There was some issue on the way. He replied dryly and went straight to the bedroom. As she was closing the door, she realized her husband's car was not parked in the driveway. "Where is our car?" She questioned him. He mumbled something from the room. Ignoring the inaudible answer, she further inquired whether she should bring him the supper. He refused and asked her to join him in the bed. At that moment, the phone ranged. She looked at the wall watch. Who will call this late in the night? She pondered, picking the receiver. "Hello," she answered the phone. "Hello, Mrs. Knight." "Yes. Mrs. Knight, this is Inspector Ryan Brown calling from Berkeley Street," he continued after a pause. "I have a bad news for you, Mrs. Knight." She remained silent and thought of calling her husband. "Mrs. Knight, are you there?" "Yes. Can you hold for a second? I will call my husband." "No," he cut her in the middle. "Believe me, all other things can wait." "Okay," she replied, puzzled and tensed. "Mrs. Knight, your husband met with a terrible accident on the Berkeley Street." "What? Is this some kind of joke?" She shouted back. "His car had a terrible collision with the tree, and we think he died on the spot." "Officer, I think you have made some mistake. That man cannot be my husband." "Ma'am, your brother-in-law, Mr. Jones Knight, confirmed his identity. He spoke sympathetically. Can I speak to him?" she stammered. After some shuffling on the other side, "Jenny," she hears her brother-in-law voice. "I am sorry, Jenny." She could hear his muffled cry. Her body started trembling. The receiver fell from her hand. "Honey, come inside, I am waiting," came the sound from her bedroom. "What will Mrs. Knight will do? Whom we meet after your death, and what will say them? Tag the person and comment below." Bones have found under a bush on one Saturday. Later, it was found it is John, a young man who is working in a city. Several years ago, John is a little boy who is an introvert and have a big crush on a girl named Emily, who lives on the same street. Emily was so beautiful, kind girl, and she have a boyfriend who is a billionaire. John always looked Emily and never got courage to talk or owe her. Later, some years, he moved to another place for work and still have no courage to talk to girls. Emily was filled her heart all the time. John's friend introduced him a girl who is very nice and pretty. John liked her at first glance. They both dated for a year, and John needed to move back to his hometown for some work there. He met Emily and talked to her first time. "Hi, Emily." Emily said, "Hi, John." John was shocked. "Did you know my name?" Emily replied, "Yes." "I am surprised. I thought you don't even know my existence." Emily smiled and said he is his childhood crush. John was silent, but his inner heart was beating fast like racehorse and couldn't make eye contact with her. His hands are shivering, and he felt shy, so looked away. But Emily was moving closer to John and keep looking at him. John couldn't believe what is happening. "Am I on my dream? What? No, it's real, but how come it's possible, John?" John, he tried to calm himself. But Emily was keep getting closer to John. Both their eyes met at some point. Emily invited John to her house. John forget his everything and also about her girlfriend. His mind is filled with Emily. John walking behind Emily to her house. He felt he was following her like a romantic movie, but it looked like a dog following her owner. John called Emily. "Yeah," answered John. "Welcome to my home," Emily said with a big smile. John was frozen and blinking his eyes. He couldn't even open his mouth, but thinking a lot in his dreams. They entered the house and the door locked. John was even more happy. Emily gave him drinks. They both drank. John told everything that happened since his birth. Emily listened it silently with a smile. Suddenly, a noise from the kitchen. Emily went to check. John looked at the entire house and found a newspaper cut. John shocked after seeing the headline with the photo of Emily. She came back. John looked at her and his hands are shaking. Emily saw the paper clip. "John, I am so hungry. When I am hungry, I couldn't control myself, and I don't like eating things that you all are eating." After some time, the door was opened and Emily got dressed up nicely and walked on the road. What happened to John? Who is Emily? What he saw in that new paper clip, everything is mystery. What do you think? Who is Emily? This story is about a man who worked in some town far from his rural residence and was returning home by a late-night train. In the train, a sadhu tried to talk to him, but he was tired and, coupled with the fact that his destination was fast approaching, ignored him. But the ascetic was not the one to let go. In rage, or at least that's what it looked like, he claimed, "You will die in 3 days." The man was taken aback, but he didn't believe him or fall on his feet, as he probably had expected. This enraged him further, and he said, "I know you don't trust me, but you have a newborn at home. Go and check. He will have 2 front teeth in his upper jaw." Please note as young his baby was, teeth weren't expected at all. In his confidence of knowing his baby much more than the sadhu, he ignored him further, now fully assured that he is up to cheap tricks. Still, when he got back home, out of curiosity, checked the inside of his baby's mouth. Lo and behold, there were a couple of cute little teeth in his upper jaw. That shook him like nothing else. Over the next couple of days, he searched crazily for the sadhu. But then he was not to be found. Dejected and a bit scared, he chose to stay at home on the 3rd day, when the man had predicted his death. Brushing his teeth in the lawn of his house, he was reflecting about the incidents over the past few days when a coconut fell from a tree on top of his head and killed him. What do you think? That sadhu is really powerful person. How long you want to live in this world? Comment below. Real-time people experienced scary events. In the year 2014, there was a couple who lived in a house opposite ours. They had a 5-year-old son named Raju. Raju's father deeply loved him and cared for him immensely. Raju used to play with my sister-in-law, who was also 5 years old at that time. Raju's mother was having an affair with another person. Raju's father came to know about this and became a slave of alcohol. When Raju's father went to work, his mother would spend all her time with the person she was having an affair with, and because of this, she ignored Raju. One day he fell ill. She neglected Raju and didn't take care of him, even when he fell very ill. The depths of her betrayal knew no bounds, as she indulged in her illicit romance, while her young son suffered. Raju's illness became severe, and he had to be admitted to the hospital. After a few days, Raju tragically passed away. Everyone scolded his mother for her affair not taking care of Raju. Later, Raju's father left town with his mother, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts. Even after leaving the town, Raju's father came to this house and cried in pain, calling Raju for many days. My sister-in-law, unsuspecting and innocent, found herself drawn to the spirit of Raju. Day after day, she stood at our doorway, calling out for Raju, her voice echoing through the eerie silence. At first, first, it seemed like childlike imagination, but my husband soon discovered a chilling truth. The spirit of Raju clung to this world, yearning for his last desire. One day, my husband decided to ask Raju's spirit what he wanted. To everyone's surprise, Raju expressed his last desire. The answer was simple yet poignant. Raju's last desire was for a humble meal of chicken and roti, a simple request that had been cruelly denied in his final days. Moved by Raju's longing, my mother-in-law prepared the food and placed it in front of Raju's house. When they returned a few minutes later, the plate was empty, and my husband witnessed Raju's soul peacefully departing from this world. Later we came to know that before Raju was about to die, he asked his mother to prepare roti and chicken. But his mother didn't prepare it for him. At last, believing Raju's soul is peaceful, comment below your haunted experience or scary events that you feel. Children's. It's 8 p.m. in the night. Aman, living in Mumbai. He got back from his office, entered the house and saw Rajkumari cooking food. Rajkumari is a servant who do all kind of work in Aman's house. Rajkumari, sir, shall I heat up the food? Aman, yes. I'll just freshen up. Where is Priya? Rajkumari, madam has gone out. Aman, okay. Aman goes to his room, freshens up and sits on the dining table to have his food. Rajkumari gives him the pulov and sabji and heads back. Aman just catches her hand and pulls her towards himself. She turns and smiles at him. He puts his hands onto her buttocks and kisses her passionately. Their secret affair had been going on for 6 months now, with Priya having no clue about it. They move to the sofa and make out, then suddenly his cell phone rings. It's a call from Priya. Aman attends the call. Priya said Rajkumari has died in an accident this morning. I am going to meet her children. You can order your food from a restaurant. I just want this happens with everyone who cheats on their partners. Don't know what kind of shit she found in this affair.